What's up? It's your boy, the Fun Police, here to police your fun once more. And there's no better way to start policing fun than jumping right on into this.
I'm gonna use the spell Shape Water to instantly kill your BBEG.
Oh god, this better not be what I think it is.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because per the spell's description, I can choose an area of water I can see within range and freeze it for about an hour. Well, as I stand here gazing into his multiple gaping wounds, I'm gonna be casting it on his blood.
Hold it! The description of Shape Water isn't, and I quote here, you choose an area of water that you can see within range that fits within a 5-foot cube. Blood is not water, it is blood. If it says you can manipulate water, it means you can only manipulate water. Even if it contains other water, that doesn't make the blood water, it is still blood. Meaning you can't be targeted by Shape Water. I don't know why people keep wanting to make cantrips instant kill people. It doesn't work, it's never going to work. Alrighty then, what is this next? Oh, this is gonna be short, let's watch.
Hey DM, I have a question about multiclassing. Well, when you level up, you can choose to progress in a different class as opposed to the one you originally picked. What's not to get? Oh no, I understand that. It's just, I'm wondering if there's anything stated in the rules that says that I can't progress in the same class.
Hold it! Okay, wow, I can't believe this. Yes, there is. Multiple times in the multiclassing rules as well. Quoting said rules, with this rule, you have the option of gaining a level in a new class. Whenever you advance in the level, instead of gaining a level in your current class, it says, and to qualify for a new class, it is repeatedly said multiple times over the entire multiclassing rules that you are progressing in a new class, not a current class. You cannot take the same class twice. The wording is very clear. And going by this video's title, no, multiclassing is not dumb, you are dumb. Alright, let's see another video here. Aha, I found one after just 1 second of scrolling.
D&D question. When it comes to the spell Control Winds, is there anything stated in the rules that says that I can't take all the wind in that space and force it into somebody's body? Objection!
Well, yes, actually. Well, I mean, not in the exact wording prohibiting it, but you can't, and I can prove it. You can control the wind in a 100-foot cube, but only in very specific ways. You can create strong gusts of wind in an area causing a foe difficult terrain and imposing disadvantage on ranged attacks. You can also make a strong downdraft to once more say fuck you to ranged fighters and also knock flying enemies out of the sky. And the final one is rather simple, a sustained updraft, which, to put it simply,
Rivali's Gale is now ready.
Yeah, it just lets you jump higher and reduces fall damage and, okay. Let me look at my videos again, and what's this next one about? Ooh, Grung. I like Grung. My players like a Grung. Let's see what it's about.
Well, you're familiar with the playable Grung race, correct? Small frogs need water poison skin? Exactly, and it's that last part that ties this all together. One might surmise that poison skin applies to the entire body, including extremities, correct? I mean, I guess so. Meaning that any creature I come into contact with is at risk of taking poison damage. Where are you going with this? Well, let's say I play a monk whose primary method of attack is an unarmed strike. As long as I'm not wearing gloves or anything, feasibly speaking, every single one of my attacks should have poison damage. Objection!
I see once more you've forgotten how to read. Let me read it for you. You can apply this poison to any piercing weapon attack as part of an attack with that weapon. Yeah, the Grung Monk can be a bit stronger early game due to constant saves versus the poison condition, but it won't do the extra d4 damage because it isn't a piercing attack. Flurry of Blows is specifically unarmed strikes, so that would be 2 more chances to poison, not 2 more chances for damage, and the poison reacts differently. If you're stabbing someone with it, it'll do more damage but won't do the poison condition. Let me just state, it's just as powerful on any class that has access to a piercing weapon. Alright, let's do the next video. Oh god. Command.
D&D question. When it comes to the spell command, is there anything stated in the rulebook that says that I'm not allowed to use command words that aren't in English?
No, there isn't anything that says that, though it probably wouldn't be in English, as English isn't a language in D&D.
Like, can I just make up an Orcish word that translates to give me all your money and pursue a career in competitive dance? Like, what's the GM gonna do? Look up the etymology for a word that doesn't exist? Just be glad I didn't use the Orcish word for shit your pants immediately and start singing show tunes. Objection!
Well, you can't just make up words, that's not how things work. That would also require the target to speak that language. One of the main things about command is that the target must be able to understand you. If it can't understand your words, it can't follow the command. Alrighty then. Let's see, how about something that isn't really debunkable, but is still kinda dumb?
You wanna know something absolutely insane about the new Dungeon Master's Guide? They put guns in D&D. According to page 72, there are now mechanics in place for firearms and explosives, including, but not limited to, semi-automatic rifles, revolvers, shotguns, grenades, and a goddamn antimatter rifle. Hold it!
Guns are already in D&D. They're in the 2014 DMG as well. This isn't a new thing, not even the antimatter rifle. They appear in multiple official modules as well. Drow gunslingers from Waterdeep Dragon Heist use a modified pistol, and gnome ceramorphs use laser pistols in Rime of the Frost Maiden. And you know, I feel like I need something nostalgic to remind me about the last video. Oh, I know, an excuse for me to rant about line of sight. Let's watch.
I want to use the spell Plant Growth to insta-kill your BBEG. And how exactly do you plan on doing that? It's not an offensive spell and it doesn't deal any damage. It also doesn't require a line of sight. Well, have they eaten anything in the last 72 hours? I mean, I guess. Why do you ask? Did that meal include any vegetables? The main villain takes a handful of minutes to eat a bunch of acorns. Now what? Now I cast Plant Growth, and since there are a bunch of acorns inside of their stomach, per the spell's description, they all become overgrown. Which means that now there's just a bunch of oak trees growing inside of your main villain.
Hold it!
Now, this isn't as related because this is about specifically an AoE affecting something in an area, but a point that you can see is meant to be a straight upgrade to spell targeting. The overwhelming majority of spells require a clear path through the target, and solid objects that you can see through would obstruct this clear path. But a point you can see wouldn't care about this obstruction. In fact, it would let you do something on the other side of it. It's why you can cast Misty Step to the other side of a window or out of a wall of force.
Objection!
Oh, and now onto the actual debunking. No, the food in someone's stomach wouldn't be affected. As in the same spellcasting part of the PHP where it says a clear path through the target, you also get the section of Area of Effects spells. Area of Effects radiate from a point that they start at and are only blocked by total cover, unless stated otherwise. Inside of a person is total cover. It won't be affected. And even then, there is nothing in the spell saying it does damage or damage a creature if they are inside. So the only effect that would happen is if it did work, it would take 4 feet to move 1 foot inside of them. Wow, how scary, how terrifying. Okay, mini rant over. What can we do next?
When it comes to the spell Enlarge/Reduce, is there anything stated in the rules that says that I can't use this spell to target specific parts of the body?
Objection!
Well, yes, it's in the targeting words. Choose a creature. Not choose a part of a creature, choose a creature. You can't target individual parts in D&D. But let's just move on. I don't want to get caught up on this. What's next? Oh god, another blood thing? And another line of sight thing. Let's play the clip.
D&D question. When it comes to the spell Heat Metal, is there anything stated in the rules that says that I'm not allowed to cast it on the metal in somebody's blood? Cause yeah, making their armor or their weapon heat up is fun and all, but I'm out here trying to give them 3rd degree burns on the inside. Like, how are you even supposed to counter that? Watch me walk up to Strahd's castle and turn him into a sun-dried tomato.
Objection!
No! Of course you can't! There's no clear path through the target, and the metal in someone's blood is not even a valid target anyways, even if you could see it, because it's not a manufactured object, and no, you cannot print cows. I don't know where that last bit came from. I must have gotten a bit carried away. Let's stop getting off track here. No more cow talk. Next video.
Well, according to the new description in the 2024 Player's Handbook, suggestion no longer requires the command to be reasonable for the target to do. Its only requirements are that it can't deal damage and that it has to be achievable. But there's nothing stating that I can't tell them to tie themselves up and do nothing while we wail on them.
Now, some of the first parts are true-ish. The wording of suggestion is that the suggestion must sound achievable and not involve anything that would obviously deal damage to the target or its allies. Tying yourself up in the middle of battle, which, while achievable, can only really have one outcome. The outcome of that is something that would deal damage to it. So no, that isn't a valid suggestion. And even if it was, you can't just suggest them to stay on the ground while you wail on them because the effect ends once they take damage from you or an ally. And why would you do that anyways? That's just more effort than the actual more powerful thing a suggestion spell can do, which is literally given in the examples of, hey buddy, leave and never come back. That's a valid thing for a suggestion to say. That is a valid way to use it, and it works. It is literally spelled out in the spell description that is a example given for what you can do with it. And it's a good suggestion too. Saying lie on the ground will just mean you have to take extra time to beat the crap out of them when they could just walk away and be out of the fight. Also, this is why legendary resistances exist, to prevent bullshit like this. So, good luck with that.
Imagine we're fighting Vecna or some other powerful spellcaster who possesses the ability to cast Power Word Kill, considering the exact wording of that spell is that a creature with less than 100 hit points dies instantly, no loss of hit points technically occurs. Thus, if I cast Suggestion on them and then tell them to cast Power Word Kill on themselves, I haven't broken any rule.
Objection!
Oh, and there's no way you'd be allowed to actually suggest someone cast Power Word Kill on themselves, because one, you don't know how much HP they have, so even if they did, well, here's the fun thing. In the 2024 rules, which you're talking about the 2024 version of Suggestion, of course, because you said it at the beginning of the video, it does do damage. 12d12 psychic if they have more than 100 HP. Alright, let's move on to the next video. And maybe something that's incredibly nitpicky that I can talk about and nitpick for no reason, even though it's just a fun way to introduce new different types of variations. But I am the fun police, so I don't care.
I said we never see non-human vampires.
Hold it!
In Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden, an official adventure for 5e, there are Gnoll and Kobold vampires, both of which are not human. Okay, enough with the very obvious thing that I didn't need to nitpick, but I did anyways. Next video, though.
I'm gonna use it as the world's most dangerous gumball. Because a creature that succeeds on a save or is partially within the area is pushed away from the center of the sphere. So if a creature eats a Bead of Force, not only do they have to contend with the explosion that occurs, they now have to contend with a 10-foot radius sphere inside of them. For reference, here's a helpful guide as to what would happen.
All it would do is cause them to move away from it or be trapped inside the area. Nowhere does it say it can kill things, so it can't. Next video.
I just discovered the most powerful spell in all of D&D. Really? What spell? True Polymorph.
I mean, yeah, it's a 9th level spell.
You can use it to insta-kill any enemy you come across regardless of hit points, which makes it significantly more powerful than the alternative power word kill. Well, per the spell's description, unlike the traditional polymorph, you're not limited to turning creatures into other creatures. This spell allows you to turn them into objects as well. I don't think you understand. According to rules as written, a corpse is considered an object. Per the rules of the game, a corpse is considered an object, meaning I could true polymorph them into a dead version of themselves, and as long as I remain concentrating on the spell for an hour, according to the spell, they remain that way permanently.
Objection!
They're now a corpse. Congratulations. They aren't dead, though. You can do this with so many more things to make it more effective, though, so why would you choose one of the worst ways? Someone can still dispel the effect, which would immediately bring them back, by the way. True polymorph them into something small, though. Like, a corpse, that's so boring and lame. Turn them into a coin or something. That way you can put them in your pocket, pay someone with it, have them deal with the thing until someone eventually casts a random spell magic on true polymorph or something. I don't know. Use it more creatively than just, boom, you're a corpse. Turn them into a rock, toss them in the ocean. Okay, what's the next video? Oh, it's this.
You want to know the most evil thing you can do as a DM in Dungeons & Dragons? It's the Mimic of Holding. The what? Right, what's the most common item you give your players in D&D? The Bag of Holding. Exactly, so what better way to mess with them than by messing with the one item they rely on the most? Explain. Well, it all starts by giving your players a Bag of Holding. They'll use it as normal for as long as you feel like lulling them into a false sense of security, only for you to later reveal it as a mimic later on. Just think about it. Imagine you're a player shoving your loot into a bag at random, only to discover that when you reach in later searching for your precious magic items, those very same items are gone, digested by the bag.
Okay, this is just a bag of Devouring, an item that already exists. And, okay, I'm starting to run out of time before my fun police shift ends. Let's wrap this up with a classic.
Do you remember the Peasant Railgun? It's a hypothetical strategy in D&D that can deal nearly 400 d6 damage in a single turn. How? Well, the idea goes that a D&D party could theoretically hire 2,280 commoners to stand in a line leading up to the creature you wish to delete, and having each of them pass a dismantled ladder down the line. This process only takes one round of combat and can be reloaded and fired again in less than 12 seconds. Explain. Well, by utilizing the ready action, each commoner is given the task of passing the rod along the line. At the start of combat, a chain of events is initiated, and that wooden rod is carried 2 miles in 6 seconds, which essentially means that it has to accelerate to the speed of 1,188 miles per hour. Okay. This is due in part to the fact that a medium creature, which human peasants categorize as, takes up a 1x1 5-foot square. Multiply that space by 2,280, and you essentially get a line that spans 2 miles. Jesus Christ. Lastly, the Peasant Railgun takes into account the falling object rule, which assumes that the wooden pole weighs 7 pounds and would do 2d6 damage per 60 feet. Dividing the total footage of the line by 60 gets you about 190, which then totals up to 380 d6 damage for a single.
Objection!
Ah, yes. The Peasant Railgun. Using raw until it isn't convenient anymore, and ignoring real-world physics until it also isn't convenient anymore. Raw, the last peasant would just throw the item as they would a normal attack. Congrats, this doesn't work. And anyways, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and go police some fun.